Chapter 32. The Subterranean River. After feasting to their fill, the rats dispersed and swam back to shore. Chujian picked up some broken stones from the ground, aiming to scatter the larger rats that lagged behind. I stopped him, citing a rule passed down from my grandfather that people from the Hu family do not harm rats. These rats harbored no ill will towards us, so I suggested we let them go on their way. Fatty was revolted. "Such benevolence is what nurtures pests," he exclaimed, disgusted to learn the water was a bathing and feeding site for the rats. Who knows how much rat urine, feces, and fur we swallowed earlier? I tried to suppress my own disgust. "Please don't talk about it anymore. Let's just move on. Find another place," I urged, wanting to leave the foul memory behind. No one wanted to drink from here anymore, so we had to continue exploring deeper into the cave in search of an underground river. Apart from a single passage, there was no other way. The sound of flowing water came from the far end of the corridor. As we advanced, the air became increasingly moist, and the passage grew damper. There were many chambers carved on either side of the corridor, each guarded by iron bars and locks, and filled with various torture devices. It seemed these rooms used to hold prisoners but were now home to rats, evidenced by the layers of black excrement coating the floors. A few hundred meters in, we finally laid eyes on a rapidly flowing subterranean river. This was the Zidu River that had coursed beneath the desert for thousands of years without ever drying up. Not only was the river deep and abundant, but it also flowed into the Darim River at its terminus. However, all rivers in the deserts of Xinjiang share one characteristic. No matter their size, they never make it from the desert to the sea. These inland and subterranean rivers eventually get consumed by the desert sands. Across the river was another large cavern connected by a black stone bridge made from the same stones of the Zaglama Mountains, which arched over the turbulent flow of the Zidu River. In front of the cavern on the other side of the bridge, there was a massive gate held up halfway by iron chains as thick as a person's arm, propped open by a huge stone. Peering through the gate and into the cavern, we saw nothing but unfathomable depths. Professor Chen was startled. Given that the stone door of the underground palace was blown open, someone must have been here. Considering the heft of this gate and its location on the third and deepest level, it's very likely this is where the Jingjue Queen's final resting place is located. In the ancient western regions, it was common practice for royal members to be buried within the cities rather than following the Central Plains Han Chinese tradition of carving tombs in mountains or alongside ridges. We had seen this before in the ancient city of Shiya, where Prince Pu Mo's tomb resided within the old city's sacred well. Therefore, it wasn't surprising to Professor Chen that the tomb of the Jingjue Queen might be beneath the palace. Nonetheless, the team felt our progress was almost too smooth, considering previous expeditions had already explored this underground palace. Given that the cave was not concealed, it surely must have been discovered by others before us. Was it possible that those who entered the Queen's sepulchre met their demise within? What exactly lay inside? Could the gigantic cavern depicted in the murals also be part of it? Seeking guidance, I asked Professor Chen if we should enter the tomb. He unhesitatingly responded, "Yes. I must see it for myself to know whether the Jingjue Queen's tomb has been looted or desecrated. If I don't see it with my own eyes, I would die in regret. If my old bones are to be laid to rest there, so be it. At my age, I have little to care for, but you all are still young. There's no need for you to risk your lives. I can go alone." Shirley Yang, who was busy loading a new roll of film into her camera, simply stated, "I'm going as well," her tone casual yet determined, as if the question wasn't about whether or not to enter the Queen's tomb, but rather whether she would be first or second. Seeing their determination, I realized I couldn't stay behind. My conscience wouldn't allow for anything to happen to them, so I asked Fatty to stay and look after the three students. Fatty did not take well to the idea. "Why am I always left with the task of the caretaker? I won't feel at ease unless I go with you. We either all go together, or none of us goes. And don't worry, I won't take any treasures we might find." Chu Jian, Sudi Peng, and the others also expressed their eagerness to go, undaunted by the potential dangers. The opportunity was too precious to pass up. They had endured the arduous journey across the Black Desert to reach Jingjue. How could they miss seeing the most important of all, the Queen's tomb? With everyone so adamant about going, we were left with the dilemma of Yi Isin, who, although frail and alternating between consciousness and haze, implored, "Please don't leave me here alone. My body is fine. I want to go with all of you." After replenishing some strength with cold salt water, she seemed energized and ready to continue. Seeing the challenging situation unfold, I realized the difficulty in ensuring the safety of 5 people, given that most of them were vulnerable, except for the tall and stronger Chujian who might be of some assistance. I suggested to the group, "How about this? I go in alone first to check it out. If there's no danger inside, we can all go together. If I don't come back after 4 or 5 hours, do not wait for me. Just leave this place at once." Fatty immediately countered, "No way. If you're going, we go together. It's better to have someone watching your back." I patted him on the shoulder. "I'll be fine on my own. I tend to be lucky. But if something does happen to me, you need to lead everyone out to safety." Shirley Yang decided to join in. "Enough with the gloom and doom. I'm coming with you." Surprised, I responded, "You're joining me? Don't make jokes. If there's danger, it's easier for me to get out alone. I'm worried I won't be able to take care of you." But Shirley Young insisted, "Who's taking care of whom is still up for debate. What's certain is that you're not going into the Queen's ancient tomb alone." As she spoke, she took the sporting rifle from Chu Jian's hand, pulled the bolt back with a confident sweep to check the full magazine, and then pushed the bolt forward, chambering around. Observing her skills with handling firearms made me gulp, never having realized her proficiency before. While we were both busy preparing our gear, Fatty whispered to me, "Hey, old who, I've noticed Shirley Young has been looking at you kind of funny lately. Maybe she's taken a liking to you? Seem like she's gotten pretty close to you already, huh?" I retorted, half-jokingly annoyed. "You're the one who's blind. I haven't noticed anything, and I'm not interested either. Strong-willed women like her scare me off, and besides, if my father saw me bring home an American girl, he'd disown me." Fatty smirked, content that I was sensible. "Good to know you're aware. I was worried you'd find yourself a wife like her. Someone who's so high and mighty thanks to their wealth, and looks down on everyone. What's that old saying? Little leather shoes click-clack, bourgeois ideologies. You'd better withstand the onslaught of the capitalist charms." Their banter showed the camaraderie within the group, but with a clear purpose at hand, venturing into the potentially dangerous tomb of the Jingjue Queen. I filled the assault rifle that I found in the valley, abandoned by the tomb robbers, with bullets, and loaded myself up with explosives and an engineer's shovel. After replacing the batteries and the flashlight with new ones, I clutched the touch gold sign crafted from pangolin claws and muttered a prayer for the blessing of our forefathers. Shirley Young had finished her preparations and inquired if I could discern the internal structure of the tomb. I responded, "I have never before encountered a tomb situated beneath a city. Normally, if I am to understand a tomb's structure from the outside, I must undertake processes that include locating Earth's meridians, observing the landscape, searching for star-aligned peaks, discerning water sources, measuring orientations, determining the burial site, and ascertaining the depth. These feng shui practices are used to determine the date and inner structure of ancient tombs. However, this is the first time I have seen a tomb beneath a city, with a bridge and water in front of its entrance that does not conform to traditional feng shui principles. What's within the tomb is truly beyond me. Once we enter, we must proceed with utmost caution, particularly vigilant to avoid activating any traps. We must also be especially wary of those strange serpents with black eyes on their heads, which are incredibly agile and hard to evade." Shirley Young nodded in understanding and took the lead across the stone bridge, while I followed closely. With the other 5 members of our team watching on, we proceeded one after the other and cautiously made our way across the black stone bridge. Then, we slipped beneath the heavy gate and delved further in.